Hey there, I am JB and welcome to Dutchland. In today's episode I would like to try something different in order to show you some more things and along the way add in some progress, and I will also try to calm down more onto the cut editing, with the reason being is that I've noticed with editing the last episode that I'm flying all over the place and don't really show off things on an easy way. And also there is one part that I actually didn't show you guys because I for some reason didn't have footage of it. Now as you can see, I have been doing a little bit of off-camera work, basically right down here, a little bit down here, and right around here. And I start really to love what I'm doing right down here. This is really going to be my pride, because things look so much more realistic the way how I am building the industry right now and using all the props along with it. So we're going to start out here and then move that way, and along the way I will add some things and I will change something. Now first things first, this area right down here, you can see all kinds of roads and I got very good reasons for that. So first of all, way back in the days, people didn't have a lot of money, they didn't have a lot of resources, there were not many people living here, and they still wanted to have a place where they can move all goodies to and have an easy way of trading stuff along with, you know, all the boats and ships and that good stuff. So it would be more logic for the people to build a bridge where the river is small, instead of building a bridge where the river is very big, very wide, need a lot of materials, there needs to be a very big budget. But with other words being said, the first road actually came along this way and then started right down here. They crossed the river, they made a small little road. The reason why the road is here and not there is because from this point on things are gonna go incline, and this land here is pretty straight. They went here, and then right down here they crossed over to this part, which is the old road that went into the city. Now later on in the days, more budget, more resources, more people and better technology, so they would make a bridge crossing right down here, and from that point on the road actually went perfectly past this mountain down here and actually ended up down here, as well as to where some roads going this way. And on this way you can, you know, have excuses to make roads go to places that will make sense, because near the river the ground is very fertile, so it would be good for farmland and that good stuff. Now of course further into the future more vehicles came and so highways came, and this here is, you know, just a piece of forest and there was nothing else down here, so they decided they need to have an intersection down here, which also basically means that the old road that they built here needed to be closed off. People will still end up going around like this if they need to, or they can go like this if they really need to. Now at some point I would like to make off camera, maybe right down here, an entrance to like a small forest industry right down here. And with that being said, before we're gonna go to the opposite side of this river, I would like to just place a couple of houses down, and this train track down here is going to need to leave. Because the thing here is, the train track, it's actually the same story if it's about bridges and that good stuff. I would say that the train track needs to cross here, pass this piece of land and then cross around here. It's gonna be a bit tight, but we need to buy a tile later on in order to make it look perfect. Then connect it up like this. I think this would make a little bit more sense to have it straight go that way rather than going all the way around what I just been saying. And then at some point down here we will see what we are going to do with the train. Maybe my idea will be to have the train go right around here. There's a little bit of rubble they need to dig out, and then the train can actually pass to the very first town part there. And then so I created a little bit of housing down here, a little bit of commercial zone. We got like a building in the corner, some parking lots. Right down here I have a hotel as well as here, little parking lot. And I think it's very nice to also make like cute little spots, places like this where people just live away from the big town and villages. So which in this case we are now done with this down here. I think it looks very nice. Just about enough. Okay, so then we pass the river right down here, and as you can see maybe from the last episode, I have been adding a lot of trees and bushes and whatnot down here, as well as I have been relaying down the train track for a very good reason, because a lot of this stuff was like concreted up, which of course doesn't feel very realistic any other than maybe some down here, right? And I'm not sure just yet what I would like to do with this area right down here. We could make like an old place out of it where there's like leftover construction stuff and make it a little bit overgrown, a little bit concrete here and there, carefully placed. We can make like a small pond out of it where there are fish in it, maybe just one house, like still have the terrain, but I can imagine it's not very nice to live between a highway and a train track. If you guys have some ideas for this spot, definitely let me know, and then I can see what I can do with that. But yeah, honest, I really started to love what I'm doing down here, which is way better than this down here, of course. Now eventually we're going to terraform and change, or better to say renovate, this whole area right down there and make it look even better. And which I'm not gonna change certain things, right? Because this Dutch neighborhood here and down here with the school, this is all fine. This is okay, but I'm gonna change it because it feels way too big for what this town is supposed to be. But of course, moving on with this area right down here, I think it /is looks fine the way it is, but I did notice that we're going to need to have a little bit of debt care, and I think this spot right down here would actually be perfect for just that. There's not a lot of room left for extra garage. If you would, I can still check it out. It'll be a very difficult thing. Now gladly we do have the circle, right? This is a downside of this. Stop attaching. Wait, maybe I need to turn off. Yeah, side of the owner. Ah, yes, okay. Whew. That's a very nice thing to figure out. Now, of course, this thing will actually be attached to this road, which doesn't have to be too much of a problem. I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna place it here. And another one is not gonna work out. It will be fine. So let's just see how this goes. What I can of course also do, and we will think of something, what we can place in this area. It doesn't always have to be industry. We could also maybe make like a farm down here. It is one of the last ones that is actually inside of the city. Yeah, but we can do all kinds of fun, cozy and cute little things. But I think a hotel would fit in perfectly down here. Now, it might not look like a perfect spot with a train track and whatnot, but we should also not forget that in certain parts of very large cities, there is like hotels cramped up. This is not a hotel where you go to if you want to see nature area. If you want to see nature area, you're gonna go to a small little hotel like this down here. You can have a walk in the forest, or yeah, maybe there are some boat facilities. Yeah, but this thing, perfect. Parking spot, perfect. You have a little garage down here. It's near the train station also, so people, you know, they have like a very nice spot. You know, I could create a small one right down here. This is a train track where you can park near the sides or here, and if not, you have to move on with your life, maybe down here or go down here, whatever, right? Shouldn't be too difficult about certain things. Alright, and so, as you can see, I added a lot of greenery. Where do we start off? Well, I basically made this neighborhood right down here the same as this neighborhood, the same kind of bushes and trees. And one little thing I forget, that is these little rocks, but it's not too much of a problem. We'll just set it to 10%, just smear some all over the place. I don't need a lot though, but moments once you zoom in. Alright, perfect. Not too much of that stuff, because right down here I just filled in this gap here with a lot of trees and bushes and also stones all the way up to right down here, so we can make something fun out of this area. Once again, if you have a good idea, definitely let me know. And I thought, you know, we need to close the train track off just a little bit. There's like a hidden fence within these bushes. So I love the system so much, and it's just a vanilla system that if you take this straight one, right, and then you can just click one bush. I should actually be using, use a mixture of that. If you hold Control, you can do both. So that's why, what to say, if you just do this, you get a very randomized row of different heights and bushes. I love that system so much. So that is what I've been doing along the train track. It just closes off perfectly from anything else. And yeah, it really fills in the blank to have some spots just completely bushed and tree up, while other spots are like open and empty. And yeah, the train station, I had to do something about it too, because the train station come with some pre-assets to say. I'm just going to zoom in a lot, so the shadow will disappear. Yeah, but the train station comes with tiny little rocks and a couple of bushes here and there. And I do see that I'm not completely finished here just yet. Well, I am going to add something in here. Let me just go for this guy. Keep it with these two. Turn on Anarchy. Yeah, the one thing with Anarchy is that I have to keep in mind to turn it off once I start spamming a lot of stuff. Because I have noticed that goes quick. Super sensitive. I should start in the middle. Calm the heck down. Then, you know, just something like that, and have a random, oh boy, oh god, what is happening? And then have like a random color right down here in the middle. So yeah, I just added a couple of things here and there, and you just need to turn this off because I was busy in this neighborhood. So I just first placed the row once, right? This because it needs to be in a row. And then I just spam a lot of these chestnut first before I'm gonna go to the smaller thing. It's very handy to go from big to small. And yeah, at some point I noticed a lot of this stuff was into the houses and onto the houses. It was horrible, so then you need to remove everything again. So Anarchy is very, very dangerous once you start spamming a lot of stuff. Now down here, this turned out very nice as I wanted to. Just a couple of larger buildings down here, and I also tried to cram myself in down here to add a couple more toilets then along the train track for now until here, and then see what else I'm going to do, because I don't want to push up too much, right? It needs to be like a city type of deal, or at least the start of the city, because our city center is really going to be around here. Of course not in the wood, but you get the idea where the city center needs to be. So we need to calm down with cramming things up too much if it's about concrete buildings and stuff. So now that we are done with that, which I leave 2 spots for you guys to decide what we're going to do, it is time to move on a little step further. I think I really like this idea of doing some off-camera work and then slowly but surely fill in the blank, change some stuff, explaining some things. And let me know if you agree with that. Now, in the last episode, I was like, oh, and then we make an industry right down here. And I explained what I had in my old town, and I never came back to it. So, yeah, let me just calmly show you what I've been doing here. I'm just going to, you know, get rid of the HUD so you can see what I've been doing. So I just made like a custom-made industrial type of deal. I added like an office here, a maintenance building, some garbage and stuff, a parking lot, some of this, some of that, you know, some assets and things. Yeah, I added like a barrier stuff down here, basically because trucks are facing toward this once they go into the corners. I thought it's important to have a little bit of, hey, watch out type of deal, while down here, you know, I don't want to crash into the toilets and the bushes. It's up to them. But then down here it's the same type of deal. Trucks just come here, they just load, unload, they can stop here, go to the toilet for a minute and get the heck out of here. So with that being done, at the end of the episode last time I said, you know, I'm just going to do some off-camera work, and I did. And I freaking love what I've been doing here. So a couple of things here are, well, I want to say real buildings, but I do believe only these two out of everything down here is real buildings. I'm going to keep that in mind to also add actual building. However, if you hover over it, yeah, there's a truck coming out of it. So it is apparently a working type of deal. These are just normal industrial buildings or different, maybe specialized zone type of deal. This down here is an office building. I can see it by the icon on top. Okay, so it's like a yellow icon, yellow building, yellow, and this one is purple. So yeah, this is like a random office zone, but it looks so, let me just say, yuck, like old type of yuck type of building. And I thought it just fits in perfectly in here. It's you know, not a pretty building, but it does exist in cities. So yeah, I got that one in here, and then down here I got two commercial zones in here, which seems like this one sells vehicles. That's different, and this one sells food. And this also, I was a little bit worried about having these poles here, and then I was like thinking about Grand Theft Auto, where buildings are basically in these pillars, and then you know, things like this is used as a piece of terrain where cars come in, the garbage, the containers, and all that kind of stuff. So I made like a little fence here to close off this area from the street, which you can only get there by going around, to say. Some stuff, some scooters and trash cans, a random van. Anything else is just ploppable. And then down here another section with whatever, right? Like here a little maintenance, road maintenance section. I freaking love this a lot. Just take a minute to just suck in this picture down here, and then look at this repeating mess. I mean, you can clearly see the difference in the realism, and now I finally know why I don't like this kind of industry and why I had so much problems creating this kind of industry, because it is just not realistic, and I didn't know really how to make it look realistic. While this down here, it's so perfect, it's so realistic, it's so randomized. It is this and that and that and this. You get the deal here. And this is something that, you know, is going to be created all over the place, in at least this piece down here. Later on, when we're going to build the city, you will see it lesser. I will make certain spots here and there, adding a little bit of industry, because, you know, it is on a, I don't know, I'm just going to call it a valuable spot in order to transport goodies, that kind of thing. Now, of course, what I would like to do, because sooner or later, you know, we need to play around with trains, and we need to connect up the train to this place down here. So we're going to need to add this depot on a correct spot. And you can see in this depot a lot of this randomized junk in here. For the basic, it works. But for someone who likes to mess around, it doesn't work. And yeah, with this specialized removing options, just select this, what looks like a drill tool, which is used in order to drill away the concrete. You can just remove everything within. Alright, so my plan here is also that there is going to be a lot of rails going on, and a lot of rails I just have to see, because I'm not sure what is up with the terminal. Passenger ship here to load and unload a passenger terminal. You know, maybe I should just go here and then unlock this stuff. And we can also do yes, this, that, and this, and holy smokes. It's gonna be time sooner or later that we're really going to do something about the public transportation. Anyways, I wanted to check out how stuff looks like, because we have this thing. Please, without that. This is just a normal, yes, one of these, and this one is the big boy. Which, does it contain a train track? Cost $500,000. It's kind of expensive to just plop it down to see. Okay, it does say road connection require no car access. So this doesn't have a we might be able maybe somehow some way make it look like it has a train connection to it, but for now it is not going to be something I'm going to keep in mind. Now the money at the moment is 11, which is okay. I am going to unlock all of these tiles for now, this except for that one, and so I can also do some off camera work with that. And oh, junk expensive. I forgot it needs a road connection, as I wanted right down here. This is now connected up to the road, which is perfect. Alright, now that we have that, I think we're making a pretty good start for this area. And by the look of it, I think what I would like to do is just 1, 2, 3. And then from this point on, make the highway go down, and then I would just have to think and see how am I going to connect it up, and or how to share things up. Oh man, there is so much possibilities in the game. What I want to say is split this road up, or at least let's say split this up in 2, right? Because we got 4 lanes. Have a 2-laner go down and the other one continue further ahead, so we can just split everything up instead of having everything come down at one point. And then I just have to see, maybe I can go around here, make this road wider, make it come up to there, have one of these roads come up to here, and then the other one will end perfectly down here. Oh man, I love it so much. I am gonna place a couple of maybe trees or bushes in here, maybe just a few, just to fill it in like that. This, have one of these in here, and a couple of